Hey y'all, it's Alexis from Ask Alexis here, and I am here with my peoples, Penrose Eames, from Penrose versus Everybody. But I'm gonna let him tell. He like to talk, so I'm gonna let him tell you about himself because that's what he likes to do. But also, what we're gonna talk about is the dynamics between cisgender heterosexual men and cisgender heterosexual women. We'll make sure that I'm in that narrow lane, and y'all, because we inclusive here. But we're gonna talk about that and consumption culture. So Penrose, tell them about you before we go dive right in.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. You always call it Penrose versus everybody. Penrose versus anybody. I
Oh,
don't want to be.
my
I
bad.
don't want to be
You start
against
over.
everybody.
Hold
No, no, no.
on,
You're
Joe.
fine. Everybody calls it that. Like it's fun. Like
The
no.
next.
But no. I am Penrose Eames, host of Penrose versus Anybody. Unapologetic show that is a very safe space that allows you to free think, talk your shit. And I mean, shit, come cry up with a nigga if you need to. I'm a poet. I'm a father. I stand black women. My whole life is a black woman stand account. Shit, I love the fuck out of me, and I do love to run my mouth. I honestly, the other day, I seriously said to myself, I was like, yo, when you gotta find your purpose and you gotta walk in your purpose. And I noticed most times that I help people make moves, do whatever, I'm running my mouth. And I literally was talking to God, and I was like, yo, Penrose Eames, that's your purpose. My purpose is that's what I'm here for, is to run my mouth.
For
That's
real.
why.
Let me tell you, just what you said. I was like, I don't want to do nothing but show up and talk. I
That's
fucking
it.
love to talk.
That's it.
I feel you. I do what you're good at. And frankly, people who love to talk, when they talk, people listen, right?
Exactly.
Everybody got a role to play.
Exactly.
Uh,
It's a magnetic force. If you're a person that's a very good talker, you can tell people that just talk for no reason, and other people who have the, for lack of a better term, the gift of gab. Those people who, like I tell anybody, man, if I wanted to, I could bullshit. If I was just a person to supply bullshit, I could bullshit my way in and out of everything. But since I'm not the type of person to bullshit, you take that power and you use it for good. You know what I mean? And people for real sit and listen. When I was younger, I didn't understand it. I was like, yo, fuck is these niggas listening to me for? And then you just gotta understand that God put you in places where you just supposed to be, you know? So yeah.
Makes sense. I completely understand. And in these comfy couch conversations, we talk about all that stuff, right? Like, so I want to say where I got this idea of consumption culture, because I got to give credit where credit is due. I was watching The Grapevine, and one of the guests on there. Now, when I say credit where credit is due, y'all subject to my memory. I can't remember which guest, but one of the guests on there was talking about, it was a guy, and he was talking about how he, before he went to therapy, he didn't do anything but look at women to consume women. Like, he was a consumer of women. He knew how he could get a place, he could get something to eat, he could get a woman to be down for him, and he could get some sex, but he had no idea how to have a healthy relationship. Like, what, like, if you want to have a healthy relationship, you got to do this, you got to look out for their interest in this way, you got to do all of that. And then I got into a few discussions with people in my life and a couple of my clients, and I realized that women be out here consuming men too, right? Like, there is this, oh, if you, what can you do for me? What can you, like, it's looked at for what I get from you, not how to form a healthy relationship.
Right.
I talked to the couples, and like my couple clients, they are they don't really see the relationship as an entity outside of themselves. It's more like, what are you supposed to be doing in order to be in this relationship? Like, oh, you got to be this, and this. This what a man's supposed to do. This is what da 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 da. But not necessarily. And so they looking for the other person's failures instead of serving the relationship as an entity outside of the two members.
That happens a lot actually. I notice anyway. And
Well,
my bad, and I don't want to cut you off. You
just
said
like
what?
I noticed the like that men be trying to consume and conquer me. I don't like that shit, but I notice more only because I'm talking to women about how they think about it, and I did my own work to like stop me
But
from being a woman.
I
Uh,
think I think it's supposed to happen though. It's just supposed to be done in a different way than actually how it's being done.
Say it differently, because be a little more specific.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm about to. Um, so on one of my morning videos, I think it was the one yesterday, as a matter of fact, or it might have been a couple days ago. I said that you have masculine men, and then you have masculine women, right? You have feminine men and feminine women, and then you have those that work in the middle. As a man, the one thing that you know naturally to do is to go, and I'll use the word hunt because I feel like that's what it really is. When you're going to look for a mate, that's what you're doing, is hunting. But if you're never taught how to hunt properly, you fall into the traps of looking for the things that are just natural to the senses, right? You don't think about the deeper things. So when we go and we look for women, you are consuming, but we get taught on the natural level just physical, sexual appetite, like, you know what I mean? Just things of that nature. But I feel like you have to, first off, there has to be a balance. A masculine man cannot date a masculine energy woman. It does not work because you think too much alike. You act too much alike. Not that this woman is acting like a man at all, but her energy is in different spaces. We have to understand that certain people, their jobs, you got to look at people, their jobs, the way they live their life. This could be the baddest woman, but she could be, her energy could be masculine. She might not want to be led. She might be in a space right now where this is what she's doing. But because we only looking at her with the attractive eye, we still pursuing. And it's not for us. You need a more feminine woman to balance out your mass. She need a feminine based dude. And I'm not saying a dude that's not a full-blown ass man.
I am lately having resistance to sometimes what people like call masculine and feminine energies. So how about we call them traits? Tell me these traits that when you're saying a masculine.
Because I don't think it's a trait. I honestly think it's an energy. I don't think it's a trait at all.
Let me ask my question differently. How do those things play out? So how would I know if I'm a masculine woman, or how would I know if I'm a feminine woman, or how would I know?
Okay. I'll say it like this. Like, so I won't say anything of being one more than the other. I'll say that I feel like we are, I guess you could call it a trait. Okay, I'll go with that because I'll say it like this, like real talk. I'm the dude that cries at movies, whole 100%. I'm the dude that I'm a nurturer. Like, I love taking care of my kid. You see what I'm saying? But I'm also like, I'm the loudmouth. I'm the partier. I'm the, you know what I mean? But so in different spaces, you need somebody that balances you out. The fact that we don't look at anything outside of these.
That's why I feel some kind of way about calling it masculine and feminine, because I'd like it feel like you're challenging my womanhood if I'm one of them things, right? Like
no. It's not about challenge. It's not. I'm not using masculine and feminine
gender traits.
But I'm not using it to try to assign it from a gender way. Okay, we can say negative and positive polarity if you want to. Like,
you see, talk about the thing instead of categorizing the thing.
I mean, I guess I don't understand how like any other way to display it. Like, I guess all I'm saying is
people who are like this, people who are like this, people who are like this, people who are like this. I get what you're saying about the balance, but it don't have to be. It's found in all humans.
Right.
So it's not like this kind of, it's human energy.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, if you're trying to deal with somebody that's on the same energy path as you, it does not work. You have because you only looking at it. If you only looking at somebody with the attractive eye, and you're not looking at somebody past whatever just ignites your original senses, you just stay in the lane of what we're talking about as far as consuming. I am meant to go out and to consume a woman. That's what the fuck I'm here for. But
that is false. That is false. I say, that makes me angry. You are not meant
how? Because when I say it though, when I say consume a woman, This is why I say that we have to get past the attractive eye. When you're only looking at a woman for
Right.
the,
But beyond that, do not consume women.
that's what no, and then you have to. How do you learn? How do you learn how to be better to a woman? Because I see what you're saying in the sense of consuming, and this is why I'm saying past the attractive eye. I guess I should say that it should take on a different definition when you stop looking at women objectively. If we get past objectifying women for sexual desire, I didn't term this, but I like it. Hobosexual desire. A lot of men literally sleep with women because they don't have nowhere to live. You sleeping, you know what I mean? A lot of men do things with the attractive eye. When you get past that and you look at a woman for who she really is, you turn.
Let me put Grumpy Bear up front because that shit made me grumpy as fuck.
What?
Talking about you sleep with women just because you ain't got nowhere to live.
Yes, that's disgusting. There's men that do that.
Not to see you as a whole ass nigga.
I don't understand dudes like that either. Like you gonna respect me as a man? How?
No, you's a fuckboy.
Yeah. So when I say consume, I feel like it's okay. Once you get past the attractive eye, maybe it really isn't for like taking these women in for consumption. But I do think because all relationships aren't going to work, so you have to learn the positive that came from it. I mean, recognize the negative and recognize what not to deal with if there's some negative in a relationship that does not work. But we have to recognize the positive as well and take it with us and that's why a lot of times it does turn into consumption because we don't look past, damn, she got a fat ass. Damn, he got a nice car. Damn, she got a big house. We don't look into do our energies match? We don't look into we like to base our similarities on like so much surface level shit. Ooh, we like the same movies. Ooh, we went to the same school. Ooh, we got the same friends. That's all well and fine, and it plays a beautiful part into what makes up a relationship. But if we don't get to the spiritual level and actually understand what we really based off of with each other, it's never, you always just going, you just bouncing. And I had to learn that for myself. It might not be the same for everybody else, but I know for a fact that I wasted a lot of time and wasted a lot of women's time fucking just for only looking at them with the attractive eye.
So let me give my perspective because so for me, I got shared future or bust. Okay, we all about figuring out how to make the world a more safer and inclusive place and ask Alexa Lane. So when I look at the notion that people who are wanting to be in relationship with each other, they come from the perspective of how do I consume the other? I can't find value in that. It's hard for me. Like if you trying to consume me, I'm approaching you with a guard. I'm thinking you're trying to use me. That's what it sounds like. Like you don't value me as a person. You're not looking to make me better. You're not looking to be bettered by me. You're looking to get what you could get. So no, that doesn't create. That's not how you build a relationship that has strong, intimate connection. That's not how. Those aren't skills for connection at all. And so then when I look at that from a community aspect, if a whole culture, a whole generation is looking at each other to consume each other, there's no connection between the two and no united front. There's no united community. Nobody has the skills of connection. Nobody knows how to listen, understand, value as a person. Now, to speak to some of your points, but that's the perspective I'm operating from. I am wholly against consumption culture because I think that it is a part of why we so divided as a nation, and then especially as a Black nation. But for me, I am a person who I would consider myself to be a natural born leader. Not to mention I got a degree in leadership, and that's usually the role I tend to find myself inside of groups, whether I want to or not.
For sure.
The thing that made me realize I was a consumer of men is that I never had a boyfriend. This was a while back, but I had never had a boyfriend I considered friend. Like okay. The way that I operated with my friends, and I had boyfriends. And boyfriends never, like, and that, it blew my mind when I realized that, because I was trying to like manifest one, and I'm like, well, what do I want? Like, I'm on my spiritual path. I'm like, all right, what does it take for me to be balanced? Or what does it take for me to be the kind of person I want to be?
All right.
It's like friend category, like when I was exploring the deeper channels of my mind, friends get treated amazing. They get grace. They get the benefit of the doubt. They get all this stuff. Boyfriends get scrutinized for disappointment prevention. Right. And so I had to do some work on myself. It took me by, and then I grew up where feelings was weak. And that was like, no matter whose feelings. In my family, like if you felt too much feeling, you was weak.
Right.
So I used to not believe that men had feelings. And then I would see men consuming women all the time. So you don't like how you was like, I wasted a lot of women's time. I would see my uncle, never mind. I just won't finish that sentence since I already.
Okay. All right.
I would see people in my life, more than one, like frankly, lots of my family, fuck it, they did the shit. Lots of my family members, the male kind, not being faithful, you know what I'm saying, looking like only talking about women for sex. I can remember one of my female friends like, why do you think that that's all they want you for? Because I just didn't have the mental concept to think that men would value me for something other than sex.
I mean, we kind of get taught that. I think the generation I'm in as fathers is doing a hell of a lot better than the generation we were taught by. Because I definitely remember at 12 years old, my father asking me if I had a girlfriend, and I told him yes. And his exact words were, excuse my language, he said, "Are you fucking her?" And at 12, I'm looking at my father and I'm like, nah. And he was like, what the fuck is the point of having a girl around if you ain't fucking? And at 12, that started me on the path of straight savagery. Because this is what my daddy told me. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, like, Grumpy Bear gonna be up here a whole lot.
Right. Like, we were taught wrong.
But I had those same, like, that's the same kind of shit I heard. So then when it's time for me to approach a boyfriend as a friend, what happens though is that's consumer culture. So now I think that that's the only value you have for me. So I'm not giving you none of the rest of me.
Right.
Or I'm doing what I think I need to do to perform a role. Now I had other traumas and shit that made me want to made me want to be chosen. So I'm operating for how I think I should behave to get chosen rather than trying to find someone I have a partnership with. And so then once I realized, once I was like, oh, but no, if I want a partnership, I for sure want them to be my friend, right? Like that made me look at men from a whole different lens as far as what kind of friends do I like and what would complement my life and what would complement the things that, like, so I got dreams, and like, not that I ain't just dreaming about being chosen. I got dreams of things I want to achieve in the world, society. But now I say this, because I have those dreams about things I want to achieve in the world and society, I have a different value for having a partner or a friend at home. Right. Ever did. And all the stuff that I thought like was like, oh, they need to pay bills, they need to do this, they need to do that. Far less valuable to me than how they make me. Far less valuable to me than if I enjoy their company. I'm not saying I ain't trying to take care of nobody specifically, but then I don't, if I'm Oprah, who gives a fuck whether Stem is working out?
Real talk.
If I got enough money, if I'm happy, and I don't have prenups or not get married like Oprah did, right?
Right.
You know,
right. It works out.
She's a better girlfriend than a wife.
Yes, it's a lot of, yeah. I feel like sometimes, I mean, in that situation, just in what you're speaking on, like, that is that's a touchy subject for a lot of people. And I think that's another reason why, like, even in relationships, people get consumed. A lot of men don't know how to deal with a woman that makes more money than them. And a lot of women don't know how to respect a man that she makes more money than. And so when you try to make that happen, sometimes when when you're not doing it the way that you're speaking of, and the way that you're talking about it, like, yeah, we shits and giggles over here. But a lot of people without the proper teaching, that becomes a toxic situation.
It does. And I have to say, I mean, I'm a personal transformation coach, and then I've been transforming myself for the last 4 years. And before, right. Like, heavily focused on thinking about the things I think about. So I had to do that inner work to discover that that's the perspective that I was operating from. Now, once I understand, yes, the perspective I'm talking about is way at Oprah scale. But my last relationship was at regular broke people scale. Okay.
No, I'm saying on any level, whether it's Oprah scale, whether it's you making 60 and he making 30, whether it's you making 150 and he making 80, as long as the love is real, that money don't really matter. That as long, and I mean it matters, but as long as we using it for the right situations, you can't just fuck the money up. But
yes, that's true. But I just want to mention this: it takes two healed people or two people consciously working through their healing in order for some of that shit not to play out. Because
right.
So I know what it takes to be a team player, and that even and so but in my last relationship, I was very intentional about not being a consumer, very intentional about how do I navigate having boundaries for things I desire in a relationship without making my feelings his fault.
Right.
And that just made him feel more shame because he hadn't been doing the work on his own emotions.
Right.
So that's also what I learned in that relationship too, is you just can't heal nobody. It ain't my job to heal inside my relationship. We can go through healing.
Right. But that's not your job. Yeah.
That's not my role, and it's something I can't do.
Right.
And I don't know why I thought I could. I've done my own personal transformation journey, and it's practicing, right? Like it takes years. And so why would I ever have thought that someone who isn't in that practice could get to a place where we're practicing at the same time?
Right.
Without feeling I know I'll be coaching people through their side effects. What the fuck was I thinking? You know what I'm saying?
You know what though? A lot of times we don't. The teacher tends to not take their own advice. A lot of times, I've recently had to go back and watch my own videos and be like, "You said that?" You know what I'm saying? You over here doing this and you said that? You know what I mean? So, it's easier. It's an old proverb, I guess you can call it, that I heard. A man can rule. It's easier for a man to rule an entire country than it is for him to rule his own mind and heart. You know what I mean? You can make anybody in the world do what you want to do, but your own feelings, you wrestle with them. You know what I mean? And so when we teaching, we know we giving out good. You know God talking through you. But then you like, for myself. And the crazy part is we never tell ourselves to go against our teachers. We just for some reason forget they exist when we go and do our own shit.
Or wait a minute, we tell ourselves the same lie that men with crazy women tell themselves.
What's that?
They won't be like that with me.
Right. Right. This situation for me, no, I can.
I done talked to many men, especially after I started volunteering in prison. Volunteering in prison is really what gave me the groundwork to know the men have feelings. But that was the like, okay, now I see men as whole people as opposed to these conqueror consumers. Like the kind of woman I got, why the fuck would I want to be conquered? That sounds like we conquer enemies.
Right.
You coming at me with this, I need to capture and conquer instead of bond and connect. Sorry, I got a little triggered just there.
No, but you're right. I mean, and it's the language we use too. A lot of times if we don't focus on language, because I've said it before, you know, and when we say it, we don't mean it in the sense of that, but it's still, you know what I mean? No. Words have energy.
I'm not, you know? I'm a person.
Right. I mean, no, but hunt in a sense, that's different.
I don't like
it. It's not about you being prey. I'm not here to kill you. I'm not here to
release.
It's not even catch and release. When you hunt something, I feel like you have to you can only hunt in a way that is what's in the best interest for you and whatever you're hunting. You're not about to, okay. When you go,
interest to be hunted.
I'm sorry?
Not in my best interest to be hunted.
I mean, again, I feel you.
Pursue connection with me, and I think that's what you call it hunting. But I feel like calling it hunting bring on the wrong kind of. You can pursue connection with me because if you're pursuing connection, here's the thing that I feel like isn't understood about the consumption of women, even by women at times. Because I know that everybody reinforces these kind of stereotypes in this way, this dynamic. I'm trying to disrupt on purpose. So you can pursue connection with me, and if you get connection with me, everything you was hunting is at your fucking feet.
But that's not okay. And the hunt is the pursuit of the connection, though. It's not necessarily a thing of like I said, catch and release or hunting you in the sense of you are a prey. I used it, and again, I mean, to stick in the lane, you're right. Words do have energy. I just said that. So maybe not using the word hunt would be better in the conversation. But I did only mean it in a sense, just like how dudes mean conquer, and we shouldn't use it. So I got you.
But here's the thing: the pursuing the connection. When you say pursue the connection, what kind of connection you talk about? Because I'm talking about connecting with me as a person
Right.
with sexual agency, a person who like to have fun, a person who likes connection, like to talk to people, who like to be party. I mean, I'm an intense person, right? An intense person with a short attention span. So connection is fun, but what do you mean by connection? Because if you're just trying to have the thing you want from me, and then you don't want to put up with none of the rest of my intensity or none of the rest of my personality, then you're not hunting me. You're not pursuing connection with me. You're pursuing my pussy.
And you know what? I had a conversation about that same, not in those same exact words, but in the sense of you should never change your level of intensity because a woman changes her mind. If you see a woman, or if a woman sees a man, and this is you, when you see this person, or maybe you around this person enough, but if your intention is to say, all right, I strictly want to sleep with this person, and you talk to this person about that, and they allow you to know that, no, that's not what I'm into. You know, I thought maybe you wanted something else. You do not change that path to still only try to sleep with this person. What I'm saying is, for instance, a lot of men will, I just want to sleep with her. She says no. All of a sudden, now you're doing sweet shit. Now you're taking her out and all of this. But then when you get the chance to sleep with her, you no longer want to do any of these things anymore. Your sole intent was to sleep with her, and that's okay. But when she said no, the respectful thing to do was to get the fuck on. It wasn't to continue to pursue it because all you wanted to do was sleep with her. You see what I'm saying?
Question for you, right? Because that shit, yes, I agree with you emphatically. Okay, we're gonna bear that shit way on. All right, respectful, open communication. But when I be talking to men about what makes them consumers of women, especially when it turns up to a misogynistic level, it'd be like, oh, she thought she was too good for me, or she didn't want to sleep with me, or she thought, and so now I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and then I'm still gonna dog you, and I'm still gonna, now I got your draws, and then now I'm still out. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it comes from like, to me, what I hear is I'm hurt because, and not hurt. It don't even have to be hurt. I'm disappointed. My ego is bruised. Like, because I feel like
I'm embarrassed.
People feel, oh, I didn't value her enough for her to hurt me, but your concept of self is assaulted when somebody rejects you, and then now that makes you turn into the kind of person that will consume, like you are intentionally trying to hurt this person's feelings.
Right.
So why? Am I wrong? Like, what the fuck? Why can't so to me, I think it's some kind of belief that either I'm entitled to everyone I want, and when they don't sleep with me or they don't give in, no matter how I approach, then they're wrong because I'm entitled to everybody I want. Or I want to punish you for my hurt feelings because I've been taught that having my feelings hurt takes my power, and I need to punish and consume you to regain my power. Or I think that I don't care about hurting people's feelings because I think that my feelings are more important than other people's feelings, and my image is more important than whatever it takes to pursue this image. Like, there's a number of judgments I can come up with.
I mean, I'll honestly say one of the biggest reasons, especially in the Black community, 100% is, and I was talking about this on my show. We come from a community where y'all are taught to take all our shit, deal with it. I could cheat 1,000,000 times a day. You better not say shit. Da 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 da. Right? Black men are the white men of the Black community.
I was not taught that, but
no, I'm saying I'm talking about as a general whole. You know what I'm saying? The black men get away with fucking murder in our community, right? And so when you're taught that you damn near have no like you got a free pass on damn near just the whole way of life inside your box of community. When you approach a woman and she don't want you, you're taught like, yo, you're supposed to be able to get what you want. You a man. When you're not taught right as a man, when men teach you, again, only with the objective eye, you get this false teaching that and take in a false understanding that damn near every woman you pursue is supposed to say yes to you. So when she says no to you, I feel you. When she says no to you, this is why certain men tend to, again, change or not change the intensity of what they want, but they now continue on a different path to still, like you said, oh, well, she ain't want me, so now I'm gonna get the draws and I'm gonna dog her anyway. Like, to have that mentality, to know that I'm now going to put in extra work to make this woman believe that I like her just to have sex with her so I can still treat her like shit, that's coming from a hurt place already.
When you are doing that, you are behaving. I'm sorry. Your people are not their actions. They perform actions, but it is very hard for me not to judge you.
No, for sure.
Horrible human being.
Yeah, I feel you. And we have to grow from it. I won't sit here and say
be in relationship with you and not see you as horrible. Because that's what everybody do. The fuck?
Right. Some people honestly believe that way of life is okay. And this is why they stay single. This is why they stay hurt. But I honestly feel like a lot of men,
I don't feel like they be hurting. I feel like they doing exactly. They just go do that to another woman.
But
that's how they get hit by cars.
I'm saying it's either it can come from hurt or it can come from a learned behavior. A lot of dudes do it because that's what they've been taught. Like literally, like you get taught to dog women. Like this is a learned behavior. Just how a motherfucker, you ever heard a motherfucker be like, yo, them white kids didn't start off like that. No white kid comes out his mama racist. That is a learned behavior. It's the same dynamic when men treating women like shit. No little boy literally comes out and just...
There are memories passed down from generation to generation. But
I mean, yes, I can understand that. But what I'm saying is, as a whole, there's not a generation of men that just come out and we just like, yo, I'm gonna treat them like shit just cause. You get taught that. You don't get it. You might not get taught, yo, you gonna treat her like shit, but you do get taught as a man, you're supposed to get what the fuck you want. When it's not broke down the right way, you just go out there with that false sense of I'm supposed to get what the fuck I want. And when you get told no, that's what creates this revolving door of hurt people hurting other people. You know what I mean?
So why on the flip side there is like somebody who is rapping or a woman who is like a Meg Thee Stallion. I don't know what she like in her personal life and or what that, that relationship is volatile. But someone who's confident and like, oh, I see y'all consumers, I'm a consume back. Why is it not like game recognized game and respect as opposed to disrespect?
I mean, men who actually
work for them.
Don't. No, I mean, some men actually respect that, but the men who don't respect it, again, you don't. How can I say it? Okay, and I will use the word hunt because I'm gonna stick it in the sense of the men that we're talking about. When the hunter becomes the hunted, they do not like it. These are the same men that don't appreciate a woman making more money than them. These are the same men.
What make you think I like it if you don't even like that fucking idea?
And again, because if you we only looking at it with the objective eye. Like I told again when I was talking on my story on my show the other day, and I said, "Oh, girl took me out my drawers." I was like, I got objectified, and I was fucking elated because I understand. Right, I do, because I understand when I objectify women, I actually do it from a very, very respectful place. You see what I'm saying? I know the type of man I am. I'm not just out, but some men would not know how to deal with a woman shooting their shot wholeheartedly, or not know how to deal with a woman pulling up in a car bigger and badder than that. So when the tables get turned and a woman sleeps with them and then dogs them out, they don't know how to take it. She's a hoe, she a rat ass bitch, you a slut, and all those nasty ass terms that those men tend to use because, again, one, you weren't taught how to deal in a relationship. Two, we won't even get to relationship. One, you were not taught how to pursue a woman properly, first off. Second off, you weren't taught to value your own self. As men get taught, go to work, get a good job, get a good house, You're taught to value things. You're not taught to value your heart. You're not taught to understand why when she hurts you like that, that you were supposed to just be able to process, talk to somebody, and try to move on. Don't go back and hurt this woman. This is why people hurt people, because you're not taught why you shouldn't. You get this feeling, you know, like, all right, this is how I feel. Off instinct, people do dumb shit and hurt people because nobody, again, the people that break people's shit up in their houses or steal from people or hurt, you know, in relationship shit I'm talking, is because that initial hurt makes you feel like, I want to break his TV, and you do it because nobody told you properly process that shit. Anger is a real emotion. You're not supposed to allow the anger to make you do dumb shit. Take that anger and turn it into something that makes you do something to ensure that you won't feel this anger again. But when we're not taught that, we consume, we hurt. And honestly, that's why a lot of men don't like women to come at them like that, because they have not been taught how to deal with their own emotions. Objectify the fuck out of me, but respect me. You objectify me all day, but respect me.
And let's get into it. Don't get it. I have been known to objectify a person or two. And the so if it's respectful, the problem with objectification is that there isn't, if that's all you see me as, right?
Exactly.
And then too, how do you treat objects? Because if you treat objects like shit, that says more about you than the object.
For sure, 100%.
Right? So so like inside of a relationship, if I feel respected by you, I have to say I like being objectified too, because you objectify all the great things about me, long as you notice them all.
Right.
You ain't noticing them all, and then you down in some of them. I don't want to be your nothing.
Exactly.
I have a tender heart. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna respect me as such.
Yeah, the Care Bears is giving me so much life.
They give me life. I love these things. Oh my goodness. Okay. They you feel nostalgia and like a person, and I feel like the Care Bears program me, and I like it.
I feel you. That's dope.
But now,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just actually just finishing up that point anyway. I was gonna say, yeah, that's where that comes from. Men, when we're not taught right, it's actually pretty sad. We're not really taught much in the sense of dealing with women. Like, I swear, like I'm not the best, but I swear I talk to my son so much because I just know. And then I'll say this: maybe men who actually grew up with fathers were taught. I didn't have my father. I didn't live in the same house with my father until I was damn near grown. I was already 16, 17 years old.
What's the lesson your daddy did teach you? So some, like, just because you got a father that's teaching don't make them good lessons.
True shit. You know,
so they might be teaching you how to be a good consumer.
True. Again, and yeah, I don't mean when my father was around, that's honestly what he was teaching me when it came to women. Like, since I was a child, I've always known, keep an extremely clean house. But guess why? Because women may come over. Exactly. But it was never, once this woman gets here and she's impressed with the fact that you cleaner than most niggas, what am I supposed to do with that now? You've only taught me to do things to end up having sex with her. Learn how to cook, make sure you got your house is clean, keep a stable job, all of those things, only to end up having sex with her. What I never realized what it was to, like, enjoy the entire woman until I was like in my 30s.
How did
I look back at
the process? Like, so what made you learn? Or what taught you?
Honestly, being in a relationship that I probably shouldn't have been in. My longest relationship, I had to learn how to love her in the middle of it, and we went through a lot. Like, she ended up being diagnosed with bipolar. She was already, but by the time we found out the diagnosis, we had already went through so much, like, crazy stuff. So the entire time I'm with her, it was it was a rush relationship. So I did not really know who you were. You know what I mean? You didn't know me, I didn't know you. We was on two different paths in life. I was doing this, you was doing that. Like, we never should have, this was oil and water. And for some reason, we kept trying to make it work. And honestly, I'm gonna be real, it ended in a, I won't say volatile way, but it ended up being a toxic relationship, and I had to get away from it. But inside of that relationship, a lot of things actually I saw myself just being like, yo, this is somebody I'm waking up to every day. And this person feels this way about me or about life or whatever we going through, the happy times, the bad times, whatever, for some particular reason. Let me start paying attention to why they feel this way. And I will say that when the bad times would intensify, because this was the first time I had been with somebody that reacted to situations the way that she did. And since I am a very loyal person, it made me say, what am I doing differently? Ended up, make a long story short, it really just came to a point of realizing, I'm not the issue. We are the issue. But at the same time, it made me look at her as more than just sex. Because now I care about why you tripping because the goddamn something happened on TV. You know what I mean? Like, I like learning a woman's triggers. Shit like that. Learning a woman's traumas. It was a lot. It was like, I'll just say that relationship and going through the different varying or various ups and downs that we went through made me step back and look at myself and look at how my energy and my actions and my way of life impacts somebody else. I think we tend to forget that that's a whole ass person over there. That's a whole ass person with the same, they're capable of having the same emotions you have. They're capable of being upset, and they have a sex drive. They got a want for life. That's a whole ass person. They might not have a sex drive. They might be a lazy motherfucker. That's still a whole ass person. And until you can respect them for everything that they are, it doesn't, you know what I mean? You'll miss out. I won't say you won't have a good relationship, but you'll miss out on a lot, an extreme amount of a lot. And it sucks that it took a lot of pain and hurt for me to understand that. But I could never imagine, because I'll be honest, shit, I'm a man. Yes, there are women that I look at, I'm like, I want to fuck the shit out of her. But I also know that if I don't have anything to offer you outside of that, I'm not about to approach you. I can't imagine approaching a woman now without total respect, regardless of what the fuck I want. I remember, listen, I was in Vegas. And I looked at this woman and I said, listen, I'm about to ask you some very disrespectful shit, but it's coming from a very respectful place. And she goes, excuse me? And I'm like, I'm not about to ask you to have sex with you. And she was like, then what the fuck is you about to ask? And I was like, if I got to know you a little better, can I eat your ass? And she... and that was my intent. And when the woman was like, nah, cool, we just enjoyed the rest of the weekend and we went on about our lives. You see what I'm saying? You have to be able to...
Did you get to do it?
No, not with her. No. I ain't gonna front. Listen, Penrose is
say that.
Why? Oh, because that's what I wanted to do at that time. I don't know why. Don't get me wrong. There was no absolute reason or I just wanted, eat some ass. I really can't give you that answer, but I do know. I think what it was, we was in Vegas. We was in Vegas. I told you, ever since you know me, I told you, I'm very nostalgic. Like, shit isn't good to me because it's good. It's good because it's a nostalgic thing, right? So we in Vegas. I see this young lady, and as soon as I see her, I'm like, she looked like somebody. Just so happened the person who she looked like lives in Vegas. I go see my friend. We get to rapping. Somebody I used to deal with back in the day. Nothing happens, but the whole time I'm like, oh, and I bring her up because that's the first person I ever did that to. And I think that whole time I really wanted to.
I was trying not to laugh loud, but oh my goodness.
No, I mean, yo, this
what I just heard. Oh man, I just really wanted to eat her ass because she reminded me of the first ass I ate, and I kind of wanted to relive that moment since I was in Vegas.
Boom. That was it. But
that's funshine. That's funshine all day. Funshine don't really be thinking about shit, but what make life more fun.
Exactly. And she was like, nah. But the funny part is she laughed it off. Like I said, it was a bunch of people in Vegas. It was like 3 years ago now. And And I seen that woman multiple times after that. And it was never awkward. It was never weird. It was, you know what I mean? Because I knew what my intent was. I knew I wasn't coming from a disrespectful place. And I think, you know, hey, you just got to learn. You got to know how to do it, man. You got to, with, because I kind of got off base a little bit.
Well, I mean, you can't tell a story like that and not think it's going to be distracting. I just want to
for sure. I mean, that's really what it was. When you attack, not only you say attack, when you pursue, do it with intent. And when the intent is not matched with the answer you were looking for, move the fuck on. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this, and then I want to take this subject and give it a different lens to discuss from.
Okay.
How did you get in touch with your intention? How did you know how did you learn the skill of being able to set intention prior to interaction instead of just reacting to what you want right away?
Honestly, hanging with a lot of women and hearing the stories about men and what they go through, and just because I don't hang with a lot of fuck niggas, or I don't hang with fuck niggas, period, it was almost like when white people be like, oh, that doesn't happen, because they don't see the hood. I literally would hear stories and I was like, who the fuck does that? Because none of me and my friends do that shit, right? But when God moved me into a position, yo, where literally there's like no dudes that really come to my house. My man's that was here last night, I ain't seen him in like 6 months. You see what I'm saying? There's literally 3, 4, there's always women here. And I'm not having sex with none of these women. God put me in a position to be around a bunch of women that sit and talk to me about real shit. And I hear all the fuck shit that these niggas do. And so I sat back and I had to tell myself, like, these are women that I wholeheartedly respect. And if I respect these women as my friends, of course, I want somebody to shoot their shot at them the correct way. So who am I to not go out here and shoot my shot at the next woman the correct way? And I have the intention. And to be upfront about it. Like, I've definitely come across women that I get to talking to and have had to tell them, like, nah, I literally just want to be your friend. I know me. I know that I'm capable of showing the emotions that even your boyfriend won't show. But that's not what I'm here for. You see what I'm saying? And so when you don't set the intention and even set respectful and lovable boundaries, it's easy to fall into some things that you didn't intend to do because you didn't set the intention. So yeah, being around a lot of women, honestly, being around women, hearing the stories of how men pretty much be fucking it up a lot on a daily basis. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. I hear so much disgusting shit, and I'm just like, damn, this shit really happens. And so I can't change every dude, but I start with myself, see what happens. So.
That's what's up. I respect that a lot. So now the lens that I want to take it to, so I teach allyship. I got my Actively Authentic Allyship course where I teach white women how to be better allies to Black and brown people. I'm active in my community, but like one of the things that I'm understanding and even a deeper level of healing that I'm going through is recognizing the way the systemic oppression has shaped my story and my trauma stories. Recognizing systemic oppression also made me a better partner to the men that I pursue relationship with, because that's how I was able to see a man as a whole person, not necessarily just what he can provide. I mean, I never really looked at men as only what they could provide anyway. Right. But to not see not being able to provide as something that takes away from his manhood. Now, the one thing I will say is a broke man is a cranky man. And it's more about you being cranky and shitty than you being broke, even though you won't hear, even though men can't really see that.
I feel you. Because again, I mean, in that situation, you say what?
It's easier to blame the woman than look at like, oh, I'm acting like shit, and that's what it is. You already feel like shit because you ain't got no money. So then you ain't gonna look at you acting like shit. You gonna be like, oh, she just only want me if I got some money. And no, it's because you mean.
I don't think it's that. I don't think we look at y'all like you only want us because if we have some money. I mean, there may be men, I can't speak for every man. I will say for me, because I have been in that situation before, it was more of a thing of, damn, I can't take care of you the way that you deserve. I was never mad at her. I was shitty and cranky because you're right. A broke nigga's a cranky ass nigga. And I was cranky because she never bitch. And then maybe every man's situation is different. But I very rarely have had women in my life that even in my worst of times talk shit. Most women I've had in my life try to inspire. You know what I mean? I have had a toxic relationship or two, but most of the times it's been inspiration. So I would say that for me, when I was in that situation before, it was because I felt like she deserved much, much more and much better than I could provide for at that time. But you're right. A lot of dudes could look at it like that.
But when you think about systemic oppression, the system is designed to keep you from being able to get a job where you can't do those things. So I can understand I know that there are jobs out there, but it's way harder. Like it is. So how then? So to me, then that makes the relationship become more like a unit, and how to make this unit more successful for the generations behind us. But if you can't see that, okay, I'm also fighting these other societal issues, and then you taking that on, now you getting depression and bad, poor self-image and becoming cranky and stuff, and then that's dividing the relationship. But the flip side of that too then is if you bring in more gender roles and gender stereotypes, where if not, we both working and you the one that maybe you not working, but you feeling like you're not doing more around the house. So now I got to go to work and carry the mental load of the household and then deal with your cranky ass.
Right. Yeah.
We divorced. We breaking up. Right. Because I'm doing all this. I could do all of that and come home to a quiet house. But a quiet house is more. I sound like how men be complaining about. But a quiet house is more peaceful than than one with a cranky ass man.
I believe it. And wholeheartedly agree with you. But no, I guess like I said,
y'all need to give yourselves that pass, and women need to give you a little. And I'm not saying it's hard on us too. Like we both need to realize we fighting some of these societal ills.
True. Now that's real talk too. As a lot of people don't pay attention to the things that have been that have leached onto you, and you don't even know they're there. You know what I mean? So you're right. And it's hard though when. And I'm not even speaking from my standpoint, just looking at other people. I feel like for them, I would say, I can't speak for them, but I feel like it would be hard when there's two people who don't acknowledge the fact that they do have some ills on them and that there's things to work out. When we think of, when we say, oh, it's just life, you know what I mean? A lot of people, when they don't know how to deal with their traumas, it's just life. When it's, like you said, systemic oppression being placed upon, and because some people just don't have what they need, because we do have to recognize that they are lazy. And what I'm saying in the sense of when we look at the systemic oppression, if that is truly where we are, then deal with that. You know what I'm saying? But learn how to recognize that, all right, dude is over here busting his ass doing X, Y, and Z. Slim over here busting her ass doing X, Y, and Z, but for this reason that we can wholeheartedly see, he can't elevate. That's not the dude that you shit on. But if he ain't doing X, Y, and Z.
But here's the thing, though. I'm going to say this, and I agree with you, and sometimes you're not supposed to be with, like, it depends on where you at. The relationship still has to have some form of nurturing to you in order to.
Yeah, for sure.
But like when you think about defunding of education, right? So like neighborhood schools gone, teachers in the neighborhoods and the schools, those is gone. So all of these other mentors and role models, fatherless homes, crack being flooded into inner city communities, a lot of these things have generational impact. So that I might be lazy, but I'm lazy because my mama was always gone working and I'm just at home by myself. And when she get home, she ain't got time. She don't have the mental capacity to parent. So I know that it is not, I'm not saying that it is my job to heal you or my job to raise you, but it could be my job just to break up with you instead of tear you down even more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yo, facts.
Hey, I think you got, like, these issues ain't working, and here's this program you could go into, or here's this, but I need you to go take care of you because I can't do it.
Sometimes that is the program. I can't speak for every man. I can speak for myself. I think sometimes losing a good woman is the wake-up call. And sometimes that woman may have been placed in your life for that wake up call.
That should be mad infuriating to the good woman that somebody's like people's wake up calls. Because now
you know what? I had a conversation.
You done tore me fuck down or disappointed.
No, I'm not. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Not from the dude. Not from that standpoint. That's not okay. If you are being a shitty man to this woman because you are in a position to where you're not happy, and then she has to break up with you, like if you have to break up with a dude just because, all right, look, this ain't working out where you at in life. Sometimes that is like, and he's not shitting on you, then that's the wake up call. That's the good wake up call. But if you have to break up with a dude because that crankiness has now turned into disrespect to you or some type of trauma to you, then nah, that's like, yeah, you run wholeheartedly away from that nigga. As the old proverb says, stay as far away from the unlucky as you possibly can. And when I first read that, I was like, that is the most worst shit I have ever heard in my life until I understood what it meant. People aren't unlucky just because God was like, ugh. People are unlucky because they continue to put their own selves in positions that they do not have to be in. And so sometimes we do have to run away from those kind of people. You either got the dude that's going to stay a shitty ass dude, or certain men like myself who was like, shit, you going where? Oh, fuck. And I had to get my shit together, you know what I mean? So
it's a tough line to know. I do, when I'm working with my clients, I have them to chart progress.
Okay.
Right, because change takes time. So if they're coming to see me, I have yet to have clients come to see me because everything is hunky-dory. They just want to learn how to keep it hunky-dory.
Right.
People come to me in crisis. So if you already in crisis, everybody got spit and venom or resentment built up. They only looking at what the other person doing wrong. Both of those, like, so this person doing they wrong and this person only seeing them for they wrong. Those is two mindsets that need to begin to shift. So you got to teach them how to look for something different, right? And now I got so caught up in the process, I forgot why I brought the process up.
Nah, because we was talking about it from a systemic oppression standpoint, and why
it takes time. So I teach my clients to chart the progress because they not gonna jump if you got with a lazy dude, he ain't gonna jump from being lazy to ultra productive in a short amount of time. And you got to decide, like, all right, how important is it to me to be in relationship with him? Like, do I have? And then he's got to be willing to be learning how not to be a lazy dude.
True.
Right, like, or she's got to be learning how not to be a lazy woman, and he's got to learn how to be, a supportive man along the journey. Like, both, you got to learn how to support people's change if we're going to heal some of the societal things.
Right.
Like, so that's the perspective I had in my last relationship, where it's kind of like, all right, society has done these things. I'm with somebody that's got some shit going on and make it more stressful. And it made me since I had less shit than they had, it got me out of being lazy. Because if it's just me, and I can live with being broke. Money ain't my motivator. It is it can make life easier. And I want more money now that I have more dreams. But as far as like, you can't dangle no money in front of my face and think I'm gonna jump for it. That I don't give a fuck. My personhood mean more to me. But with him, and so then like he got some shit going on. The relationship is something outside of us. What can I do to make the relationship go better? I go out and I get a job that is, what I'm saying? I've been thinking about it anyway.
Right.
But then he just kept being stuck in this cycle of shame. Because the better I did for the team,
the worse he felt
about himself, and I remember I did my work, so I'm not putting that shit on him.
Right.
But now you doing stuff like, because you disappointed in yourself when you were around me, you not being around me.
Yeah, I mean, and I can see it happening, and that creates a whole nother issue too. I mean, yeah, I can see a man doing that. It's not okay. That's the sign of depression, I would feel, though.
And I remember I asked him specifically that question, and it took that. I was so proud of myself, but I was like, "Are you depressed?" And he like, I don't know. Or he was like, huh? What made you ask that? I'm like, because you're moving in some ways that don't necessarily make sense.
Right.
So I'm wondering, are you depressed? He thought about it, and I can't remember if he admitted that he was or he wasn't. But then when it came time to start doing stuff about it, I got all the tools, not all, but I
Yeah.
got a ton of tools, right? Like, but you're not willing to work the tools.
Right.
I
You
what
can't do nothing. Yeah. You
it's
can't.
it's sad to watch, and then, but I wanted like so for me, I got the societal mission. And it's kind of like, well, I wouldn't want nobody. I've had depression myself, so I'm not. I don't want nobody to leave me when I'm depressed. That's
Right.
right to work. So I ain't leave him. He left me.
I mean, some men leave out of their own depression, or people, I say, because they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with the fact that they can't make you happy. They don't know how to deal with the fact, or they also don't know how to say that to you. It's
They
the sad.
did his job to make me happy. I was happy as fuck. Not necessarily with him, but in life, my shit was going smooth.
Right, but at the same time, if a person can't, what's the how can if they don't believe that, all right, so I feel like if you're with a person, you're supposed to enjoy the spoils of their riches, but only because that they want to share those riches with you, right? But I feel like anybody's normal want for reciprocity would encourage them to also want to show reciprocity. So I feel like that could play a part in it. If you're in a position to where your life is going well, and he can see that, and you're happy, in his head it could be, yeah, she is happy, but I'm not adding to that happiness by anything that I'm doing. She's happy because things are going good for her over here. Not taking into account that because things are going good for you over here, that your happiness could eventually maybe spill over more on this side. We tend to take it as she's happy over here. I'm not doing anything to add to that happiness. So before she gets annoyed with me, we start making shit up in our head. Before she gets annoyed with me, I'm gonna go ahead and get the fuck up out of here. And so now we done took your happy ass and fucked it all up.
And this motherfucker gonna say, so you're onto something, because he used to say shit like, I feel like I'm holding you back,
Yep.
right? But then you leave, and I'm a person who has who has had to heal from abandonment shit, right? Like, so you
Right.
pull me off.
Right.
I'm happy, and you feel like you holding me back. So you gonna make me unhappy by doing the thing that's the worst thing to do to somebody like me? Like, how make that shit make sense?
You know, and you know what? What we have to
Like,
do too in our
I gotta
relationships.
recover.
Right. Because look, in our relationships, we actually have to start trusting what the other person is saying as opposed to trusting what everybody outside is saying. Because your mans in them will tell you, yeah, dog, if you ain't putting in, she probably gonna start fucking with somebody else. If you ain't putting in, she probably gonna get it's your mans in them. Just like it's your mama that says, get this kind of person. If we don't, it's okay to take advice. It's okay to have friends that you can go and vent to and have serious conversations with. But we have to start trusting that motherfucker that's right in that relationship with us and listening to actually what they're saying. We hear, but we don't listen. We don't take those words and digest it. We hear you say, "No, I'm good," but we don't. Instead of hearing, I'm happy here and I still need you to work on you, all we hear is, nah, she lying. Cause we ain't heard shit. We taking our own shit in. We've already blocked off what you said. She can't be good. I ain't adding nothing to the fire. I'm not providing in any way, shape, form, and fashion. How she good with me? Again, we have to start listening to the person that we are in that relationship with. If that woman says that she's good, we have to believe that you are good. But we also have to remember, if there were building blocks that were already set in spots, you're supposed to be working on doing this, my dude. You're supposed to be working on doing this, my guy. You're still not up here, but you're doing the steps, and she's good. Keep working them steps, man. Because now, if you do leave, I guarantee you're not gonna work the steps now. Not by yourself. And now, like you said, he didn't abandon you and took you to a whole different spot to where you had to recover from.
I mean, yes, it was a whole spot emotionally and internally, but I'm an Aries. I blew the fuck up, right? Like, there is no fucking way, and so I'm to my clients, I'm a person too. Okay. So I'm human, and knowing the shit and how you react to the shit is different. But
Right.
there's the way it was like this happens every time I break up with somebody. I might be depressed as fuck, but I'm about to level up something in my life.
Right.
You go, no, I'm better.
Right.
It's not even for like, it's not because to prove to them. It is because in my head, I'd be damned if I let you break my heart and my whatever thing I'm leveling up to. Whatever
Right.
it is, I know there's no way I'm not about to be so busted that I'm held back in life. So it ends up becoming like fuel for achievement, but it is not fuel for connection. It do be a broken heart. It is me just doing something to salve my trauma and pain. But I
Right.
say this, I did a really great thing. I did use my tools with that relationship where I immediately got a therapist because I did not trust myself to watch my mind, right? Like I know people come to me to be their coach to help them watch their mind when shit hitting the fan or they transitioning like if you start a new something like a big endeavor or something, pull out all your triggers and all kind of stuff. So I said, oh, okay, you got to do practice what you preach. I allowed myself to process the feelings. Now this is the thing that was the dopest. I did not vilify him in my mind. And what I mean is I wasn't sitting around thinking about how he wasn't shit or thinking if he took advantage of me or any of that kind of shit because
Right.
I know what intentions I operated from. And if I did, but the thing I know that I got to observe was then the less I vilified him, the less of a victim I felt.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't make him
There's no villain there.
monster, I wasn't the victim of this big monster. So like
Right.
thinking about whether or not he took advantage of me, I don't think that he did because I was able to see it clear. Like I'm not looking to make him the worst guy so I can separate my feelings.
Right.
I was cool with processing my feelings. It is what I gave him more grace, frankly. Like, oh, okay, I understand. It was shame. It was this, da da da. And that story helped me to better metabolize and process through the pain.
I feel you. I mean, and I think that's what we have to do in order to on both sides of the coin, because that it's easier to vilify. It's easier to walk away when we can vilify, or at least we tell ourselves that. But when we take away the vilification of the person, we then are able to heal a lot faster because you then realize, like you said, you're not the victim. And I think that too is something that we have to get away from. When you victimize yourself, when you say, oh, this person did this to me, and we victimize ourselves, this happened to me, I feel this way, oh my God, it's too much. You created something to put on yourself that wasn't even there.
Or even if it was, the thing that another benefit, I didn't. So sometimes when I go through breakups, I'd be like, oh, I don't trust my judgment on how to pick people and blah, blah, blah. Giving myself a story that I could understand from an emotional, like from my coach's mind, like, all right, people, this is what connection happened, da, 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 da. I felt it was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is what happened. And so it wasn't a matter of my judgment being poor. Like I didn't start to self-criticize either.
Right.
And so if it wasn't for COVID, I'd have been out doing all of my thotty things, right? That COVID was like, no, I will say this. When I say I use the tools, yes. But then COVID was like, nah, sit down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh no.
You sit down, you stay in the house and you think about what you've done.
Right. COVID made relationships and broke a whole lot of them up too.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, systematic oppression is real, and it goes all the way down to the level we just got down to. Is, you know, when we don't recognize, when we don't look past, again, if we see somebody and we just like, oh, they this way for this reason, and you don't recognize that it could be outside forces, it could be things that we don't normalize or readily pay attention to. Once we look at a whole person, nobody's promising perfection. Nobody's promising that this shit is even gonna work out between y'all. But if you attack it, or again, approach it with the right outlook, you at least got the tools to use to start knocking away some of the traumas that need to be knocked away. You know what I mean? It's like Badu boot camp. I'll never forget the time I had to be like early 20s, and I was sitting in a hair salon, and it was a magazine, and it was. You remember Sister Magazine?
Yeah,
And
that's the
it
hairstyle
was
magazine. Yeah.
it was a Erica Badu did a interview, and she talked about Badu Boot Camp, and she was talking about how nobody had ever completed it, but at that time, Andre 3000 had got the furthest, and clearly, you know, they got 7 together and all of that. But it's the same thing with being in relationships. Like, it's a boot camp. Nobody expects you. Well, I won't say relationship is a boot camp. I will say when we recognize the traumas, or from the systematic oppression standpoint, when we recognize the things that are hindering us or a loved one in your life or a person that you want to be in a relationship with, we can use the tools more aptly in a boot camp kind of way to get through the situation. We have to work it together. And again, we have to learn how to trust the person that's inside that relationship. I remember plenty of times looking a woman in her face and knowing 100%, I'm telling her the honest to God truth, and to be able to look at this woman and know that she does not believe a word I'm saying. And I've been in situations where I've had a woman that believed the streets way more than she believed me, and I was like, oh no, this cannot work. How do you know what I mean? And so we can't begin to help each other work away anything that's bothering us if we don't trust each other. So systematic, it's a lot of systematic oppression, not even just from because I know a lot of people hear systematic oppression, they automatically think from a racial standpoint, and a lot of that is real. But even just down on the sense of how we deal with each other and how we place feelings and who we choose to trust and not to trust, a lot of it comes from systematic oppression. So
Yes, but I'm gonna say this, and then we gotta wrap up because we
sure.
love to talk, been talking.
Right.
I can't trust you if you're trying to consume me. And I understand men not being able to trust if the woman is trying to consume them.
I feel you. And now that we had this conversation, it actually opens my eyes up a little bit more to, not that I have been, I don't think I've been operating in those actions as of lately, but just in the sense of the verbiage I'm using and the words I'm using to describe what I want and my intentions in pursuing a woman. So I thought you're right. We cannot consume each other if we hope to have productivity. So
And connection.
right.
I'm not a product to be consumed. I'm a person to be enjoyed.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, enjoy me. I don't
Right.
me. But it's the cheer bear section of our show, and I sure forgot to ask y'all to like, subscribe, and share at the beginning. So we're gonna cheer that on first. But we like to cheer on whatever it is that you're doing and let everybody know where they can find you. So let them know.
I mean, I'm podcasting as always. You can find me on Penrose versus anybody, anywhere you can find a podcast. Recently, you know what? I'm making not a career change, but like I'm still in the same field, but I'm like moving on to bigger and better things, and it's like exciting is like, oh, get out. And then like God will listen, and I know we gotta go. God will make sure you move. God will test you when you say you want to move. I literally was sitting in my work truck with somebody else from my job, and these people called me for my 4th interview, and I was like, fuck it, I gotta take this call because I know what's in store. You know what I mean? So no, Penrose versus anybody. That's what I'm doing, going on to bigger and better things in my personal life. And yeah, cheer that on for me. And yeah, cheer that on for me. End the show. I'll say that because I'll talk forever.
I get it. I ain't even mad at it, except I'll be on my turn to talk.
I feel you.
But it's Alexis Douglas from Ask Alexis. I only got one more. This a win. I didn't even realize I got one more coaching slot available. I've been telling everybody it was 5 and 4. I got one more coaching slot available. If you want to reach out to me, you gotta. I don't mean to be this. I don't mean it arrogantly, but it really is. My schedule kind of full. You got to get in where you fit in.
Hey, that's real.
And I want to help more and more. So I'm trying to figure out ways I can hold space and have larger containers. How about y'all? Let me know in the comments if you would be willing to, like, maybe have like a monthly virtual get together where we do some kind of support activities, or I give you some tool. I guess they call them work master classes. You would join a monthly master class. We might figure out how to do that. Because I want society to be better. And so we got to have the skills for connection with one another, with ourselves first, and then
Right.
with one another in order to help society connect to each other. I'm so tired of this divided shit. I'm ready for it all to change, and this what change begins to look like. Revolutions do change things. But I'm ready to connect. I'm ready. I need COVID to go away so I can do my thotty things. I need, I need, actually, no, I really like, I want genuine connection. I say that. I want a husband and then maybe a boyfriend on the side. But I don't like lying, right, at all. And
Right.
I know that there are men out there that are into that. And if, so I don't feel bad about saying it. Like you said, speaking with intention, right?
Exactly.
I want the boyfriend right away. I really want to put some like effort into connecting with the concept of a husband. Although I don't know if I really want to get married, but that like deep connection is what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you mean, yeah. I
I
feel
want
you.
to put some effort into what that would be like, and who I like if I would be a better person because of.
Right.
Um, yeah. So we need society to be a better place, and we got to end mass incarceration because now that I'm ready to connect to a husband, I need him not to be behind bars.
Yeah.
Um, right? Like that's taking a lot of our men, y'all,
A whole lot.
and women, frankly.
Yeah.
Please vote like education matters. Vote for expanded city services. Injustice for one is injustice for all, says Martin Luther King. Um, and I guess that's enough cheering on for that. But we got to heal all these ills and ourselves. Heal yourself, heal the world. Oh, sorry, my Detroit family. And anybody that wants to come virtually, I'm hosting on October 23rd from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. A body paint and politics party. What we're gonna do is go over the ballot, and I'm gonna let you know who I think you should vote for and why, so that we can have our shared future. Because a shared future or bust here. So I have a researcher, and I'm doing my own research to see who is more in alignment with the values that we hold for a safe and inclusive future, which I don't have to go into all of my political opinions in this moment, but for the reasons of creating a shared future, I'm having this body paint and politics party on October 23rd from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. The Eventbrite will be coming out soon this week. It'll probably be in the comments by the time this video gets posted. And I have people, I got a canvas, so I got a body, and she bad, y'all. I got a body to paint. I gotta reach out to the artist if I don't be the artist. And we're gonna let you know who on the ballot you should pick. So register to vote, get your absentee ballot. If you are in Detroit, then we will go over city issues, the school board, who I think you should vote for in order to create the shared future. So cheer that on. It's gonna be fun. So you heard all of this, my thotty ways, all of that. That don't mean I'm not politically engaged. I told you I volunteer to go into prisons. I was an adult literacy teacher for 3 years. I can be all these things.
Right.
Thank y'all. Thank you, Penrose. This was a great conversation. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. So this was good.
Yes. And this is I hope y'all enjoy it like we did. And we will, if I could ever get my mouse to work right, we will talk to you soon.